Okay, so it was like in 2009. So I just failed grade 5. My mother just passed early in the year. And also I just discovered that also that I don't actually have a father, which is not uncommon for where I came from, but like these whole things just compounded on each other, and then that was my lowest moment.
So I'm going to ask the question again: is how did you deal with it at that point in your life? How did you deal with it, dear?
So like really when I was a kid, I had no one, so I didn't know how to deal with it. So I didn't really deal with it. And so I just took things as they came, and I just lived at that moment, and then that's it.
And then another question came to my mind: is what did it teach you?
Maybe like what I learned at that time is to letting go of control, because I couldn't control anything at that time. I couldn't control where I was, the circumstances, or anything. So I just accepted things as they came, and then yeah, that's how I dealt with it. Yeah, sure.
My lowest moment in my life that I could remember is when I lost my mother. But then with that experience, I didn't only lose my mother in a car accident. It was both her mother, so my grandmother, and aunt, her sister. And this happened 2016 December. And just hearing those news, even on the first day, I just cried my lungs out, and I just I felt like I was shrinking in this world, and everything just didn't make sense, And I think that was my lowest moment in life. But then going through that, it was hard because I had to grieve, mourn them, and just accept that it's done and there's nothing I can do. You can't bring a dead person to life, you can't. So going through that, it's just a matter of finding comfort in God. So I'm a spiritual person, so I found comfort in God and just knowing that it happened, but then He's still there, and He's God, and He's really been taking care of me in ways that I couldn't have even thought about in life. And because I always thought maybe I'd suffer or whatever, but it's just a matter of missing them. And when I have things happening in my life, and I just wish they're there to witness the moment with me, but then there's nothing I can do. But then I still have hope that they see me in heaven, when I do all these things, and they're proud of me and I'm doing well, and they would have been happy for me, and they want me to be happy wherever they are. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my lowest moment in my life was last year, somewhere around August. I had a fight with my girlfriend, a fight with my best friend, and at that time I was doing very badly in my academics. I was failing, basically. I had the worst time at that time. And going through that, I had to cut off all social media for a whole month. So for a whole month, I did not talk to anyone. I was trying to understand how I was feeling, because I didn't really know. That was the first time that has happened in my whole entire life. So I didn't understand how everything works out. So I took a month to myself and trying to understand myself. Then I got through it. So now, no longer with my girlfriend, but me and my best friend are still close. So.
My name is Tabolwethu Maposa. My lowest point in life was the death of my father in 2010. It was in March, I think it was around March. And as a little kid, I was just 10 years old by the time. And I didn't understand what was happening, because my mom came from the hospital with my sister, and she started crying, saying that her friend has died, but I didn't understand which friend it was until several days later I learned that it was my dad who had passed away. It was the very lowest point in my life, because I hadn't spent a lot of time with my father. I hadn't gotten to know him well. But at that point, I asked myself why it was me, why had fate dealt me a tough card like that. But at the end of the day, I knew that I needed to work with it and to understand that I needed to move through it. And that then pushed me in life, because when I went back to class in primary school, I knew that there was no way out for me the only way out for me was education, because those were the last words that my father said to me, that the only way out for me was education. So those were the words that I hung on to, and I kept on living my life based on that. So I dealt with it at that point where I understood that sometimes fate deals us with tough cards, and sometimes it's the amount of things that happen to you don't necessarily mean that you are a weak person, but they actually mean that you have been called for something better and greater. And I lived with that throughout my life, and I found my purpose, and I understood that sometimes life gives us something hard, and the only way to get out of those things that are hard is to acknowledge them, to recognize them, and to recognize our hurt, and then to pick ourselves up from there and work as we move on with life.
So when you said education is the only way out of what do you mean?
Out of, I can say out of the grief also, and out of like the kind of life that I was living then, because my parents had given like an environment for me to grow up and become something that they weren't, or they weren't able to achieve. So the only way they thought that could be possible for me was if I become educated. So that would take me out of the life that I was living, and take me out of the life where I grew up, so that maybe some point, sometime in my life, I can have a greater life compared to what they lived.
Hi, my name is Temegile Vangu. Okay. I stay in Kailicha. My lowest point in life is the living condition. In our areas of Kailicha, the standard of living is not the same. Yeah. So I stay in shacks. I'm waiting for a house from the government.
So the government's they promised to build you a house?
He's promising to build a house, but I don't know until when I'm going to wait, because I've been there for almost 10 years. Yes. So I don't know when. I work here, but I stay there. So you can see the difference now. Where I work and where I stay. That's my lowest point in life. Thank you.
Hey guys, Devin aka Dina Chaitanya here. I just want to say a very big thank you for watching my video, and please like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content and to receive more of this content weekly. And also please feel free to share these videos with your friends and family. One of the things that I took away from this video was that everybody, no matter who you are, has faced something tough or is going to face something tough in their life. And so the one thing that came to my mind while I was making this video was that our grief can seem really, really intense when we try to go at it alone. But understanding that when we grieve, we don't have to do it alone for the most part, that we can reach out if we're not scared to be vulnerable in front of people we trust, then that can help us in our grieving process and help us to understand that we're not doing this alone. So thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.